You know that feeling when you meet someone years later and they are just not the same person anymore. Same face, same name, but something inside has completely changed. That's basically what Dr. Usman Bugaje is describing about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and coming from him, this hits different because this isn't some random critic. This is a man who worked directly with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu back in the Action Congress days, back when Nigeria was fighting to move away from dictatorship. Now, Bugaje says the Tinubu he knew back then was a patriot, a democrat, a man who genuinely wanted democracy to survive in this country. But listen to this, it says the man leading Nigeria today is completely different, not just different in style, different in spirit. He even goes as far as saying if it were up to him, he would call for a psychiatric review just to understand what actually happened to this man. And now, before you react, because I need to say this, you have to listen to him the way he explained it himself, because what he says next about the National Assembly and the judiciary, honestly, it is even heavier.
You knew or you've known President Bola Tinubu for quite a while. Of course, you're in the same party, the Action Congress of Nigeria. Is this the same person you know? Is this the same Bola Tinubu you knew? If not, what has happened? What do you think happened? And do you still have access to him to pull his ears? You remember 2023, people asked President Obasanjo, why are you backing Peter Obi? He said on record that because he's able to pull his ears. What happened? Is this the Bola Tinubu you know?
Well, I've been asked this question severally.
Please, I need to know. It's very important. Nigerians
as National Secretary of the AC and later ACN, we have worked very closely together. We have traveled together. We have spent nights and days together. We have struggled as opposition party, remember.
Exactly.
We have done a lot of work and things together. And my impression, the impression I had then, was that this is a democrat. This is a patriotic Nigerian who wants to free the country from dictatorship, install democratic values, promote sustainable democracy, and fix the problems of this country. We engage on the basis of ideas, and so he came across then as somebody who reads, somebody who is interested in ideas, somebody who is prepared to do what we needed to do to fix this country. I mean, that was the impression I got. But since, even before coming to power, during the APC, the way he supported, the Buhari government, I wouldn't do that. I didn't support Buhari's government. I came out to really point to the terrible things that Buhari's government was doing, for which, as you know, I was called severally by the security agencies at different levels. Some of them I met have conscience. So when you really speak to them, they realize that this is wrong, but they are in a position where they have to solve. But the point is, he came across as somebody who was the right kind of person to, but it has turned out to be completely different. And I'm still asking the question myself, what happened to him? And honestly, if I have my way, I will ask for a psychiatric review.
Seriously?
Because I mean, the transformation, from what I used to know him to be to the current one, where he's basically a monarch. And I understand he's very fond of saying that the buck stops here, and that he is the man who decides what happens and he gives orders. As a democrat, you don't do that. You are not a monarch. You are not a dictator. You consult, and it is the engagement with people. You persuade people. Democracy is about persuasion. I mean, power in democracy is based on persuasion, because you persuade people to vote for you. You persuade people to implement the policies. You explain to them. None of this that I have seen.
You lobby. There
is no persuasion that I've seen. There is no explanation that I've seen. There is no remorse for the terrible thing that they have done. There is no sign that they are even going to listen to anybody. They are on the high ground where they, control all the levers of power, and they want to do whatever they want to do. I ask them to ask themselves for how long and at what cost, and what are the benefits to them.
Let me dig deep for just a moment. Could they have been playing all of that? Could they have been putting up a charade, just playing to the gallery?
Well, it's a possibility, but I'm not in a position to really, to do that. If you get psychiatrists or clinical psychologists. They will be able to figure out
what really happened,
what type of subclinical mental disorder they might be running through. Because honestly, I can't understand collecting money that even your grandchildren would not, need. What at what cost? And then people are being killed daily, and you don't seem to care. And you make careless statements that really show that you are not just complacent, but you are also actually complicit. It is as if you are working with all these people that are draining this country, and it's very sad.
A Democrat turning into what he calls a monarch, that is not a small accusation, sincerely speaking, because that is someone saying the entire structure of consultation, persuasion, and accountability, the whole point of democracy, is gone. And it doesn't stop with just one man, because in the second part of this interview, Bugaje goes even further. He talks about the National Assembly, 109 senators, 360 House members, and how, in his words, they have totally cowed into whims of just one person. Now think about that. An entire legislature meant to check power, bowing instead, singing on your mandate we shall stand. Now think about that for a second. And then there is the judiciary, the same judiciary that is supposed to be, as he puts it, the last resort of the poor and the oppressed. It says a good number of them are falling under the spell of one individual too. Listen to this part carefully.
Does it not say a lot about the quality of leadership that we have at the different centers of political power? Because we claim to be practicing the democracy. Many have argued otherwise, and I would want to think that they are correct. Take the National Assembly, for instance, 109 senators, 360 House of Rep members, and they seem to have totally kowtowed to the whims and the caprices of one individual, or so it seems. What could be responsible for this? I don't want to talk about the judiciary where we started from, that also seems to have fallen under the spell of an individual.
Okay, I'll be a little more cautious. Even if the majority of judges are corrupt, I always want to say there may be few, and I think there are few, but there must be very clean, courageous judges. The same with the police, the same with the other institutions. There must be. So we always need that footnote to underscore the struggles that some of these people do in their own institutions, because they can't be popular if they do not do.
They're the silent minority.
Exactly. And sometimes they are themselves, their lives are in danger. Because people around who are doing the mess will not be comfortable with them. So we salute them. We appreciate what they are doing. We encourage them to continue, because at the end of the day, they will be the ones that are going to sustain. Falsehood, recklessness, it doesn't sustain. It is honesty. It is a staying power, that resilience that actually sustains. So yes, when you speak about the quality of leadership, I think that's the point you are making.
The National Assembly.
It's a reflection of the party that gave them the ticket to run. When you have a party that is empty, that doesn't represent anything, it will attract anybody. And these are the kind of people that we have. Because ask yourself the questions, what do our parties really represent? Look at the characters that are running the party. A lot of them are crooks and criminals. Look at their records. And therefore, these people who have failed, or let me put it this way, these people who actually represent nothing and have no content as to exactly what kind of, which direction, in fact, the country is going to run, they will attract similar people whose idea of being in government, whether in the National Assembly or as commissioners or as, is just an idea of how do you make money. They feel it's an opportunity to simply grab, the national resources. And so these are the kind of people. Many of them have not gone to school. A lot of them actually have false certificates. A lot of them, I don't know the percentage, but I like to think that over 50% of people who are holding political offices in our parties now, both state, local government, are on drugs. And this is why you cannot even rely on the quality of their mind to take sound, and the responsible decision. Because a lot of the time, really, they are not themselves. And I wish NDLA will run a random test for all people, holding political office and publish it, because they're public officers. They should be able to do that. They won't, because they will not allow them to. They will sack the person, whoever, and they won't be happy with what I'm saying.
So here's what we are really looking at. A man Bugaje once called a Democrat, an assembly that is supposed to hold power accountable but isn't, and a judiciary that is supposed to protect the ordinary man but, according to him, is protecting power instead. So let me ask you, do you think Nigeria still has real checks and balances, or has power basically swallowed all three arms of government? Kindly drop your honest take in the comments. Sincerely speaking, I would love to see what you have to say about this particular update. And if you enjoyed this update, do well to like this video, share it with someone. Let's keep everyone informed. And if you are yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss my next update. And I'll see you in my next video.